things will last forever: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of all is love. I am Preethi Daniel, wife of Dr. Daniel Jacob, and mother of Ms. Preethi Daniel, our 4-year-old blessing from above. By profession, I am a human resource manager, and by passion, I am a giver to the society. Today, I am here to talk about how love can make a difference in our lives and as well as in the lives of others around us. We are all here on this earth to show love and be loved. And one of the greatest change-making agents that I believe that can work both inwardly and outwardly is love. Have you ever experimented what a demonstration of love and kindness can do to your innermost being firstly, and secondly, to someone when shared? We all love receiving gifts, but what if the gift that we received is love wrapped with kindness? I'd like to share an incident from my childhood that taught me what love and kindness can do to someone who can never be in a position to pay it back to you. We lived in a quarters, which we now call as a gated community. We lived on the ground floor so that the balcony was completely grilled in order to ensure safety from the intruders. I was 8 years old when one evening I was sitting in the balcony with a bowl of snack that my grandmother had offered. As I was eating that, I saw a little girl who was very similar to my age. She was picking rags. Her bag that she carried mostly contained plastic wrappers, tins, and so on. As I was eating that, she looked at me and she motioned that she was very hungry. I just offered the snack that was left in the bowl. She hurriedly gulped it because she was very hungry. And she looked at the plant watering jug that was just beside me. So I immediately took the jug and poured the water as only the nozzle could go out of the grill. She just drank incessantly, and her eyes were just filled with a great sense of relief. I just waved her a bye. She moved on with her legs moving forward, but her eyes were fixed on me with a very grateful smile. That was what I remember till date as love at first sight. So our friendship continued very secretively, but in a very stable way. Days went by. With the little money that I had, I decided to give her a gift. So I bought a mirror, a comb, a powder tin, an oil carton, few clips and few bands, and I put it in a box, and I wrapped it in a beautiful wrapper, and I gave it to her. She had no idea what that could ever be, but when she received it, her eyes were welled with tears. And as a child, that was the first time I ever knew that immense joy can bring tears. She expressed her joy untold. Yes, she was mute. She just held the box closely to her chest, tightly closed her eyes, and laughed with joy. That joy on her face was very addictive even to watch. I just told her, be happy. And she was so happy with that. I really don't know what that act of love did to her in the long run, but at that moment, she experienced so much joy unspeakable. While to me, that was exactly the place where I found my purpose. Such random act of kindness became a habit and became a very integral part of my life. Days went by, but my addiction to spread love and kindness never diminished. The little I do, the more compelled I felt from within to show further love. I came to a point of my life when my parents decided to get me hitched with a man, and amazingly, the person became someone who happened to share the same passion as myself. My husband Daniel and I lead an NGO where we tell the people that they are simply loved unconditionally. Our passion intertwined so much, we just couldn't stop it from overflowing, so a tribe of volunteers joined us, and that is how we take it forward to the community. To give a glimpse of what we, along with our like-minded volunteers, were able to give to the society in the past 6 years is where we were able to touch and uplift the lives of several lesser privileged government school children, destitute women, transgender community, commercial sex workers, physically challenged people, mentally challenged people at various shelter homes, and most importantly, the most neediest people on the streets through our regular random love walks. And one thing that commonly touched all of us was the smile on each of their faces with that unexplainable expression of being loved and cared. Specifically, during this COVID-19 pandemic, we decided to fetch daily needs for those who were unable to go out of their houses. But sooner we realized that the scenario of need was much bigger than what we actually thought of. So we, along with our volunteers, jumped in to offer help. We decided we do multiple projects. So multiple projects were initiated under the COVID care umbrella, where we were able to provide dry rations to over 12,000 plus families across India, and we tagged our dry rations kit as Love Bundle. The beneficiaries of the Love Bundle were daily wage workers, elderly citizens, leprosy-affected people, tribal communities, transgender community, physically challenged people, and so on. Alongside this, the migrant workers issue began, and the migrant workers were having a very hard time being stranded on the road after vacating their houses, after losing their jobs, and they were just clueless as to where they could go. So we initiated the Migrant Workers Mission, through which we were able to assist and provide food for hundreds of migrant workers, when we were able to provide shelter and accommodation until the travel arrangements were made by the government. In one instance, while we did this Migrant Workers Mission, we were able to show them love. We were able to recharge their mobile phones so that they can talk with their family members while they were on their way back to their hometown. We also spoke with the house owners, negotiated their rent. For some, we paid their rent. And we somehow wanted them to stay under the roof until the travel accommodations were done and not on the roads. In one instance, we were on our way back home, and we saw a bunch of migrant workers standing under a flyover, cluelessly not knowing where to go. We went home, but we never had the peace to sleep that afternoon. So we just came back, and to our shock, we saw hundreds of migrant workers standing there, cluelessly not knowing where to go. We really didn't know from where they even came. So we went to the police patrol on duty, and we asked, is there something that we could help for our fellow men? And the police patrol on duty said, most of the migrant workers standing here haven't had their food even for 2 days or more. We were very shocked. Amongst those migrant workers, we saw a very young couple, a husband, a wife, and a 4-month-old baby, also stranded on the road along with their friends, not knowing where to go. We both spoke in action because they spoke Assamese and we didn't know that. We asked them to come along with us, but they were very hesitant because they had no idea why some stranger couple would come and offer that to do it for them. But we asked them to come in, we put them in the car, traveled the whole of the city, trying to find an accommodation, and they were denied in every single place. They had no other option than just be on the road, on the hot sun, and in the night. But we had no idea to leave them like that, so we somehow convinced them. We asked them to come along with us, and they stayed along with us. And the next day, we found a shelter, we put them there, and in 2 days' time, we put them in a train back to Assam. They were complete strangers seconds before we met them, but that was the day that proved radical love can create some strongest bonds that are never time-bound. They reached home safely, and they pinged us asking, "Why did you go that extra mile to offer help to someone whom you never knew, and why did you choose to do it for us?" That was a very deep question, but neither did we know why we did that, but deep inside us, we felt very compelled at that moment to do it for them. Multiple projects were initiated as per the need, and we decided that we will continue to spread goodness, positivity, and hope to everyone who is in need by showing love to the unloved, care to the uncared, and hope to the hopeless. Because I strongly believe that if we are living with breath on our nostrils, then each of us truly have a greater purpose. Many of us sitting here might be wondering, if suppose our leaders could have done this, or if suppose they could have done that, this world would have been a much better place than how it is right now. But I tell you, each of us have a simple natural ability within us, the power to love and the power of love in action. Yes, this love, though very gentle, can powerfully shake the people around us by creating a ripple of change in the society, to the nation we belong, and also eventually create a bigger impact globally to making this world a much better and beautiful place to live in. Thank you.